Hey everyone, Nubkas here. We are back with another video. Today we have a lot of updates on this price segment of 250 rupees and up to $3. So this is the second part. If you haven't watched the first part, go check it on the videos I've already uploaded. So without wasting any time, let's get to the video. So in the second part, the first game is coming up from the Paradise Burnout Remastered versions, which is 80% off, 239, almost like a $2 to $3. So this is the racing action multiplayer arcade adventure game, which we already have played in the PlayStation 2 in the game stations. So previously we were used to play all the crashing or the hitting stuff with the multiplayer system. So these are the remastered version. The tracks has been renewed, the graphics has enhanced, and all up to support for the 4K. And you need to have to see the destructions has been also already advanced more to have more realistic destructions for the cars while racing and taking down your opponents, local or the AI competitors. So this is the best, I can say, the racing if you want to have the feeling for the nostalgic since you have played the Burnout in the childhood. So 80% off, 239, almost like a $2 to $3. So it's worth to check it out. Moving to the next game is coming up from the Medal of Honor. So Medal of Honor is my favorite one, which is the action FPS shooter single player military. So these stories is totally based on the relatively missions. Tier 1 operations takeovers 2 million active soldiers. Of those, approximately 50,000 falls under the direct control of the Special Operation Command. So these inspired by developed the actual Tier 1 operations from this elite community. Players steps into the boots of these warriors and apply their unique skill sets to fight new enemies and most unforgiving and hostile conditions. 75% off, 249 rupees, almost like a $2 to $3. So I highly suggest you to get this game if you wanted to experience. And it also doesn't require the EA sign-in criteria, so you don't have to log into the EA softwares or EA logins. So that's nice to have, as this kind of games doesn't need any sort of login requirement. The next game is coming up from the Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. Sniper Ghost Warrior is sniper open world realistic multiplayer FPS stealth game. 80% off, 219, almost like a $2 and few cents. If you wanted to go behind the enemy's line, ultimate modern military shooters, play an American sniper dropped in Georgia near Russian border. Choose your own paths to accomplish your missions across unforgiving open world. So if you wanted to experience always the Sniper Ghost Warriors, which is only based on the Cry engines, 80% off, 219. So this will be the great games to have the sniper games. So there's also a cam, Killzone cam, so you can see your bullet cams as well. So that's a great experience to watch. So 80% off, 219, almost like a $2 a few cents. So that's a great option to have at this kind of sniper game. The next game is Call of Juarez Gunslinger and all their series, which you can have bundled like 354, 80% off, and Gunslinger cost around 80% off, 196, almost like a $2 and a few cents. While Call of Juarez Bound in Blood is 80% off, 99, almost like $1 a few cents. And the first one is the Call of Juarez in 80% off, 99, almost $1 and few cents as well. While Call of Juarez Gunslingers will have the gold mine of the Dirt Salon of Gunslinger, real homage to the Wild West tales, leave the epic violent journey of ruthless bounty hunters to the trial of the West most notorious outlaws. And Call of Juarez Bound in Bloods is based on 1864. In order to save their family, McCall brothers will kill anyone who stands between them and legendary gold of Juarez. And the Call of Juarez is the first one epic journey for Western-themed FPS game. The player alternatively assumes the roles of the two distinct antagonist characters and sneaking fugitive Billy and his hunter, the Revered Ray. So these all games are gonna cost less than 250, while Gunslinger will cost 80% off, 196, almost $2 few cents, while Call of Juarez Bound in Blood is $1 few cents, 80% off, 99 rupees, and Call of Juarez, the first one, which is 80% off, the same 99 rupees, $1 few cents. So it's worth to check it out if you want to experience the Western FPS action shooters game. So that's a great one to have. And it was developed by Deadlight, which is the key developer of the Dying Light. So So the next game is coming up from this Contra Anniversary Collections. It's 80% off, 105, almost like $1 few cents, which we have all the Contra's version, Super Contra, the Contra, the first one, and the black and white one as well. Every Contras has been included in it, in which we have the arcade version, Super Contra, Contra NA, Contra Japan, Super Contra C, Contra 3, Alien Wars, Operation C, Contra Hand Corps, Super Predator. These are the Contras games which will be included in this anniversary collections. So if you wanted to have these all N64, NES 64-bit games which we already have played, so if you wanted to experience the same with the new resolutions on your screens and latest configurations, so this is 80% off, 105 rupees, almost like $1 few cents. So that's the amazing to have in your library if you wanted to experience, since you have already played childhood the Contra games. So the next game is coming up from the incredible adventure of Van Helsing Anthology. So if you're gonna have a single games you can have for these incredible Van Helsing of 90% off, 69 rupees, almost even less than $1. Part 2 is also the same 90% off, 69 rupees, almost less than $1. And part 3 90% off, almost like less than even $1, 69 rupees. If you want to go have all the DLCs included in it, it will go further beyond the 250 rupees segment, but it's only 50 rupees, like of 30 to 40 cents. So it's a 300 rupees, 90% off, almost like a $3. So if you wanted to have all these DLCs, and with the Van Helsings, we already saw the Vampire Hunters games, and these are the games which you can experience the hack and slash action RPG and loot as well. So these are totally based on the killing all the vampires, and the monster hunters face difficult trials. So you can have the isometric cameras as well, city wear signs, and kind of some mechanics which you have experienced in Diablo. So if you wanted to go for the bundles, so this is the great one that you can have under 300 rupees. You will get all these games from 1 to 2 to 3 and the Death Trap as well. So this is 90% off, 300 rupees, almost like a $3. So that's the great deal. The next game is Raid Faction series, which have 80% off, 112, almost like a $1 few cents. The first Raid Factions cost, and first Factions 2, Raid Faction 2, which 80% off, 112, the same prices, almost like $1 few cents. And the Raid Factions Gorilla Remastered versions is 80% off, 224, almost like a $2 and 30 to 40 cents. While Raid Factions Armageddon, which gonna cost 80% off, 224, the same $2 and 20 to 50 cents. So these games gonna cost you around less than 250, but if you want to go and buy the Raid Faction Complete Editions, you have to take the 80% off, 692 rupees, almost like $7 to $8. So these totally based on the games of the realistic physics and complete everything missions, which limitless options to do, which you can have the almost physics based games. You can destroy anything around you and environments. So that's a totally have a great blast of gameplays and all that stuff. So that's a totally a deal. 80% off, 224, almost like a $2 and few cents, while other games are 80% off, 112, almost like $1 and few cents. So it's worth to check it out. The next game is coming up from the Bionic Commando. The Bionic Commando Cop Pack is 78% off, 197, almost like a $2. So this game $2 few cents. So this game is gonna have a Bionic Commando and Bionic Commando Rearmed. So the rearmed version is the 2.5D environment gameplays, where you can use your bionic arm and complete all the missions and take down all these robotics, while Bionic Commando is some sort of gameplay action third person single player, where you get ex-military forces when you turn rogue and then need to in the battlefields to take down all these enemies and rogue robotics. Then you will get your this bionic arm and you're just swinging around all the cities and grappling kind of hook, and you also take the enemies down with your bionic arms. So this is 78% off, 197, almost like a $2 few cents. So that's the amazing games to check it out. The next game is totally based on 2D platform, which is Deadlight Director's Cut, 85% off, 102, almost like $1 a few cents. So it's a zombie outbreak, eradicated all hope of returning to the lab back to normal. Now only survivor leaves, runs and hide and fight your way through the undead and mdeal research for his family in the gorgeous, greedy and destroyed world. So it's an action zombie adventure platformer 2.5D game. So 85% off, 102, almost like a $1 and few cents. So it's worth to check it out. The next game is coming out from the Need for Speed Rivals Complete Edition, which is 80% off, 199, almost like $2 few cents. So these games are just coming after the most wanted ones and erase the line single players and multiplayer in the street racing rivalry between the cops and racers seamlessly join a world where friends and already racing and chasing. So these games allowed you to join any racing games while playing racing with your bots and anything. You can drive around and find any NPC's bike and or car to send them requests and play race games with them and take on this money. So bet on that. So it's a 80% off, 199, almost like $2 a few cents. So that's the great way to check it out. The next game is coming out from the Castlevania Lords of Shadows Meters of Fate, which is in HD versions. So it supports up to 4K display, while it's at 85% off, 147, almost less than even $2, which is the sequels of the sequel of Castlevania. Lord of Shadows reveal the story behind the Balmonts as they battle destiny across the generations to discover their true fate. Trevor Balmont, Knight of the Brotherhood of Light, embarks on an epic quest to avenge his mother who was killed by his father Gabriel. So it's 85% off, 147 rupees. So it's a $2 and few, less than even I can say $2. So it's worth to check it out if you're a fan of the Castlevania series. So this is the one you can check it out and have it in your library. So that's it from my side. I'll bring back the new videos and updates. So stay tuned for that. I'll meet you in the next video. Till then, keep gaming. Nupkaso out here.
Yeah, boy.